What if I told you that those heart-healthy exercises you've been doing every day might not even be touching the training that actually protects your heart? What I'm about to share even caught me off guard, and I've been following cardiovascular health for years. A major study from Johns Hopkins University's Cardiology Center, published in 2024, tracked over 12,000 adults aged 60 and above for 8 years. Here's what they found. People who consistently did these 5 specific exercises had a 67% lower risk of heart attack and a 74% higher rate of blood pressure control compared to those who only did regular walking. This isn't an exaggeration. It means that at 65, some people have stable blood pressure and strong hearts, while others are already popping multiple blood pressure pills every day, constantly worrying about a heart attack. The researchers were so shocked by this gap that they partnered with cardiovascular research institutions in Japan and Australia for cross-validation. What's even more surprising, people doing these 5 exercises actually spent 25% less time working out each week than those who only walked, yet they crushed it on every cardiovascular health metric. Their resting heart rate dropped by an average of 11 beats per minute. Their vascular elasticity test scores were 39% higher than the control group. Most critically, their systolic blood pressure dropped by an average of 18 millimeters of mercury, while those doing only light cardio dropped just 6 millimeters of mercury. Here's the thing. For every 10 millimeters of mercury drop in systolic blood pressure, heart attack risk decreases by about 25%. But here's the real reason I had to share this with you. The top exercise on this list is so simple that almost anyone can do it. 94% of participants started practicing it on day 1 without any equipment. Yet this single exercise alone made people's cardiovascular age an average of 7 years younger, according to the latest cardiac rehabilitation research from the Cleveland Clinic. Scientists discovered that this exercise activates what they call the vascular endothelial repair mechanism, literally repairing the parts of your blood vessel walls that have started to age and harden, bringing blood flow back to a smoother state. And I saved the most mind-blowing part for last, because once you understand the science behind it, you'll never look at your heart's potential the same way again. This could be the difference between living energetically at 75 or being plagued by heart problems starting at 65. Before we dive in, drop a comment and tell us, how old are you? Do you have any concerns about blood pressure or heart health? And what exercise do you currently do every day? We read and reply to every single comment, so write yours down below right now. All right, no more fluff. Let's get into it and show you exactly how these 5 exercises become your heart insurance policy after 60. Starting from number 5, grip strength training. This sounds completely unrelated to your heart, but the scientific research will make you see it in a whole new light. A 2023 study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that adults over 60 who did grip strength training for just 8 weeks saw their systolic blood pressure drop by an average of 10 millimeters of mercury and diastolic pressure drop by 6 millimeters of mercury. That's roughly equivalent to the effect of a commonly used blood pressure medication. Why does this matter more than you think? Because grip strength is actually a window indicator, reflecting your overall vascular health. When you squeeze hard, the muscles in your forearm compress your blood vessels. When you release, the vessels rapidly expand. This compression-release cycle trains the elasticity of your vessel walls, like doing gymnastics for your blood vessels. After 60, vessel walls gradually stiffen and lose elasticity, which is one of the core causes of high blood pressure. Grip training targets what cardiovascular specialists call vascular compliance. Research shows that for every 5-kilogram increase in grip strength, cardiovascular disease mortality risk drops by about 17%. Here's how to do it right. Get a hand gripper or a tennis ball-sized stress ball. Sit in a chair with your arms naturally at your sides. Squeeze the gripper at 30 to 50% of your maximum strength and hold that intensity for 2 minutes, then completely relax and rest for 1 minute. This is called isometric grip training. Do one hand, then switch to the other, 2 times per hand. The key is intensity. Don't go all out. Maintain a moderate, sustained contraction for the best blood pressure regulation effect. Research shows that compared to high-intensity, short-duration gripping, This moderate intensity, longer duration approach is far more effective for people over 60 at stimulating blood vessel endothelium to release nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is the key substance that relaxes blood vessels and lowers blood pressure. Start by holding for 1 minute at first, then gradually work up to 2 minutes. A study from McMaster University in Canada found that people who did 12 minutes of grip training daily for 10 weeks saw blood pressure improvements comparable to taking a standard blood pressure medication. Even more impressive, this effect persisted for weeks after they stopped training. Researchers noted that the intermittent blood flow restriction during grip training triggers adaptive changes in blood vessels, fundamentally improving their regulatory capacity, something many blood pressure medications simply can't do. Now let's move on to a completely different but equally critical cardiovascular protection system. The fourth exercise is diaphragmatic deep breathing. If you thought breathing just happens automatically and doesn't need practice, think again. A 2024 study published in the Journal of Hypertension Research found that adults over 60 who did 15 minutes of diaphragmatic deep breathing daily saw their systolic blood pressure drop by an average of 9 millimeters of mercury, and heart rate variability increased by 31% after 6 weeks. These numbers are no small deal. Heart rate variability is the gold standard for measuring heart health and autonomic nervous system function. Higher heart rate variability means your heart is more flexible and better able to handle various stresses and changes. Conversely, low heart rate variability is an independent risk factor for heart disease and sudden death. After 60, most people's heart rate variability drops significantly, and diaphragmatic breathing is one of the simplest and most effective ways to reverse this trend. Diaphragmatic deep breathing directly acts on your vagus nerve, the highway connecting your brain and heart. When you do slow, deep belly breathing, the vagus nerve gets activated and sends relaxed signals to your heart, slowing your heartbeat and lowering blood pressure. Modern lifestyles, stress, anxiety, shallow breathing weaken vagus nerve function almost every moment. And after 60, if you don't actively train it, this decline directly affects your heart's regulatory capacity. Here's how to do it right. Sit in a chair or lie on a bed. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose, letting your belly rise like a balloon while the hand on your chest stays as still as possible. Take 4 seconds to inhale, then hold your breath for 2 seconds. Finally, exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds, feeling your belly slowly contract. This 4-2-6 rhythm is crucial because it maximally activates your parasympathetic nervous system. The biggest mistake people make is breathing too fast or using chest breathing instead of letting the belly lead. Your chest should barely move. Your diaphragm and belly do the real work. Do 10 breaths per set. Rest 1 minute, then do 2 to 3 sets. Research from Harvard Medical School found that adults over 60 who did diaphragmatic breathing daily for 8 weeks saw their cortisol levels drop by 23% and sleep quality improve by 34%. And these two improvements further protect cardiovascular health. Even more impressive, their arterial stiffness index also showed measurable improvement. Researchers noted that deep breathing isn't just about relaxing, it actually recalibrates your entire autonomic nervous system, switching your body from fight or flight mode to rest and repair mode. This mode switch is the most underrated method of protecting your heart after 60. Next up, exercise number 3. It addresses a problem that almost everyone over 60 faces, yet few know how to fight back against. Before we continue, if you're finding this helpful, hit that like button so more friends over 60 can see health content like this. And don't forget to subscribe. We regularly post practical senior health content, and you won't want to miss what's coming up. Coming in at number 3, calf raises. This move looks like it's working your legs, but what it really targets is the most overlooked part of your cardiovascular system, lower limb blood circulation. A 2023 study from the American Heart Association pointed out that the calves are called the body's second heart, and their pumping function is crucial for preventing venous blood clots and reducing cardiac burden in people over 60. The study found that people who did calf raises daily saw lower limb venous blood flow velocity increase by 43% and ankle swelling incidence decrease by 51%. Here's the interesting part. When you're standing or sitting, blood pools in your lower limbs due to gravity. Your heart has to work extra hard to pump that blood back up, which increases cardiac burden. But when your calf muscles contract, they act like a pump pushing blood upward, helping your heart do its job. If your calf muscles are too weak, your heart has to handle all the pumping work alone, and over time, your heart gets worn out. Here's how to do it right. Stand near a wall or chair so you can hold on for balance if needed. Feet shoulder width apart. Slowly raise your heels, letting your body rise until you're standing on your tiptoes. Hold at the top for 2 seconds, feeling the contraction in your calf muscles. Then slowly lower your heels back to the starting position. The key: go slow. Take 3 seconds to rise. Hold for 2 seconds. Take 3 seconds to lower. This creates enough muscle pumping effect. Do 15 to 20 reps per set, 2 to 3 sets total. Once you can do this easily, progress to single-leg calf raises for more challenge. A study from the German Sport University Cologne found that adults over 60 who did calf raises daily for 6 weeks saw their resting heart rate drop by an average of 5 beats per minute. That means your heart can beat over 300 fewer times per minute, over 400,000 fewer times per day. Researchers also found that calf raises significantly improve peripheral vascular resistance, an important indicator of how clear your blood vessels are. Many people over 60 feel their legs are heavy and tire easily when walking. The real reason is poor lower limb circulation. Even more striking, after just 6 weeks, participants increased their distance in the 6-minute walk test by 47 meters, direct evidence of improved cardiopulmonary function. Researchers attribute this to the strengthening of the entire venous return system through calf exercises. For those over 60, this exercise has a hidden advantage. You can do it anywhere, waiting for the bus, watching TV, doing dishes. You have countless opportunities every day to do this move. The key is making it a habit. Research shows that spreading calf raises throughout the day actually works even better than doing them all at once, because it continuously stimulates lower limb circulation and reduces blood pooling time. Now we're about to get into the top 2 exercises. Number 2's effects will blow your mind. The runner-up position goes to brisk walking with exaggerated arm swings. Before you start thinking, isn't this just regular walking? Hear what the latest research says. A 2024 meta-analysis covering 28 studies and over 15,000 participants aged 60 plus found that brisk walking with large arm swings provides 89% more cardiovascular protection than regular walking, is safer than jogging, and puts 60% less stress on joints. The key phrase is large arm swings. This exercise ranks second because it creates a unique whole-body coordinated cardiovascular stimulus. The large arm swings engage upper body muscle groups, directing more blood to your limbs while increasing heart pumping efficiency. Think about it. During regular walking, your arms might just hang naturally or swing slightly. But when you deliberately swing your arms back and forth to shoulder height, the intensity and effect of the exercise completely change. Research shows people who swing their arms widely while brisk walking have heart rates 15 to 20 beats per minute higher than those with small arm swings, burn 26% more calories, but report almost the same perceived exertion. That's why exercise scientists call this invisible enhancement. You get greater cardiovascular benefits with almost the same effort. The muscles engaged during large arm swings include deltoids, pectorals, lats, and the entire core stabilizer group. This upper-lower limb coordinated movement significantly improves cardiac adaptability. Here's how to do it right. Choose a flat path or do it indoors. Walk at a pace where you can talk but can't sing. That's about moderate intensity. Bend your arms at 90 degrees and swing them widely with each step. Forward swings should reach chest height. Backward swings should bring your elbow past your body's midline. Keep your head up, chest out, eyes forward. Steps should be steady and powerful. Heel strikes first, then roll through to push off from your toes. Continue for 20 to 30 minutes each time. The key is rhythm. Arm swings must be perfectly synchronized with your steps, creating a smooth, coordinated movement. Start with 15 minutes and gradually work up to 30. Stanford's Cardiovascular Research Center did a fascinating study. They had adults 65 plus do brisk walking with exaggerated arm swings 4 times a week for 12 weeks. The results were remarkable. Resting blood pressure dropped by an average of 14/9 millimeters of mercury. HDL cholesterol increased by 11%. That's the good cholesterol that protects blood vessels. Most surprising to researchers, participants' vascular endothelial function improved by 27%, meaning their vessel walls became healthier and more elastic. Even more striking, cardiac ultrasounds showed their left ventricular ejection fraction improved by an average of 4 percentage points. Keep in mind that ejection fraction is the core indicator of heart pumping efficiency. In other words, their hearts could pump more blood with the same number of beats. The study's recommendation, at least 4 times per week, 20 to 30 minutes each time, maintained for 8+ weeks to see significant cardiovascular improvement. And now, we finally arrive at what you've been waiting for since the beginning. The champion exercise is interval walking training. Once you understand the science behind it, you'll see why it has top cardiologists around the world so excited. This is the exercise I mentioned at the start, the one that made cardiovascular age an average of 7 years younger in the Cleveland Clinic study. Interval walking looks way too simple, so simple that many people don't take it seriously. But it's the only exercise that can simultaneously address nearly every core cardiovascular issue after 60. Blood pressure regulation, vascular elasticity, cardiac efficiency, blood sugar control, and even inflammation levels. A 2024 study in the journal Circulation Straight Up called it the most cost-effective heart protection exercise after 60, and the data absolutely backs up that title. Why is it so special? The core of interval walking is alternating between fast walking and slow walking. When you walk fast, your heart needs to pump faster and your vessels need to dilate to deliver more oxygen. When you walk slow, your heart and vessels get brief recovery. This repeated challenge recovery cycle forces your cardiovascular system to constantly adapt, becoming stronger and more elastic. This training pattern produces more powerful cardiovascular adaptation effects than continuous same-intensity exercise. More critically, research found that people over 60 who only do low-intensity steady-state exercise see their cardiovascular improvements gradually diminish because their bodies have gotten used to it. But interval training constantly varies intensity, so the body can never fully adapt and improvements can continue. A 5-year study from Japan's Shinshu University found that people over 60 doing interval walking training had a 58% lower heart attack risk and 47% lower hypertension incidence compared to those doing regular walking. Here's the basic method. Find a flat path or do it indoors. Start with 3 minutes of normal pace walking as a warm-up. Then alternate. Fast walk for 3 minutes at a pace where you're a bit breathless but can still say a few words. Then slow walk for 3 minutes at a relaxed, comfortable pace. Repeat this alternation for 5 to 6 cycles, about 30 minutes total. Finish with 3 minutes of slow walking as a cool down. To make this exercise truly powerful, the key is progressive advancement. Weeks 1 to 2, fast walk 2 minutes, slow walk 3 minutes, 4 cycles total. Weeks 3 to 4, fast walk 3 minutes, slow walk 3 minutes, 5 cycles. Weeks 5 to 6, try fast walk 3 minutes, slow walk 2 minutes, increasing the fast walking ratio. Weeks 7 to 8, try adding a slight incline or quickening your pace during fast walking phases. The research on interval walking can only be described as revolutionary. The Mayo Clinic tracked 600 adults over 60 for 3 years. Those who did interval walking training daily showed systolic blood pressure dropped by an average of 16 millimeters of mercury. Fasting blood glucose dropped by 12%. And most surprising to researchers, their C-reactive protein levels dropped by 29%. This is a key marker of systemic inflammation, and chronic inflammation is a core driver of cardiovascular disease. What truly stunned scientists was the underlying mechanism. During interval walking, your heart must constantly switch between high load and low load. This repeated challenge stimulates adaptive changes in cardiac muscle cells, making your heart stronger. Vascular ultrasounds showed that older adults who regularly did interval walking training had measurable improvements in both the thickness and function of their vascular endothelial layer. In other words, at an age when most people's vessels are getting stiffer, their vessels were actually becoming more elastic. Interval walking also addresses a problem that becomes noticeably apparent in almost everyone after 60, declining insulin sensitivity. Lower insulin sensitivity means blood sugar is harder to control, and long-term high blood sugar severely damages blood vessels. Because interval walking repeatedly stimulates muscle glucose uptake, it's one of the most effective exercise methods for improving insulin sensitivity. To further amplify benefits, pay attention to timing. Research shows that doing interval walking 30 to 60 minutes after meals produces the best blood sugar and blood pressure control effects. That's because post-meal is when blood sugar peaks, and exercising at this time helps muscles consume excess glucose while promoting circulation and reducing vascular burden. Here's another advanced technique. During fast walking phases, consciously deepen your breathing to get more oxygen into your blood. This breathing coordination further enhances cardiopulmonary training effects. Here's the final summary. These 5 exercises perfectly demonstrate why they're the heart protection investment you absolutely cannot ignore after 60. Sure, just doing regular walking is better than nothing, but it can't provide enough vascular elasticity training to prevent arterial hardening, enough cardiac load variation to strengthen heart muscle, enough autonomic nervous system training to stabilize blood pressure, or enough targeted stimulation to significantly improve circulation and metabolic function. But the combination of these 5 exercises protects your cardiovascular system from multiple angles, trains your vascular elasticity, cardiac efficiency, blood pressure regulation, and blood sugar control, activates your body's self-repair mechanisms, reduces cardiac burden and improves whole body circulation, gives your heart more reserve and capacity for daily life, climbing stairs, walking, handling stress. When properly scheduled, all 5 exercises take only about 25 to 30 minutes per session, 4 to 5 times a week. Compared to the take blood pressure pills every day advice many people get, this is a proactive approach that fundamentally improves cardiovascular health. That Johns Hopkins study I mentioned at the beginning found that people doing this kind of targeted training significantly outperformed those doing regular exercise on every cardiovascular metric, and their adherence rate was 38% higher because the varied training content and noticeable results made it harder to get bored or doubt whether it's working. Remember, what determines success isn't perfection, it's starting and sticking with it. Start with whatever version you can do right now, even if you can only do the most simplified version for a short time. As long as you stick with it and gradually improve, your heart will surprise you. Countless studies have repeatedly proven it's never too late to start. Many studies even included participants in their 80s, and they still showed significant cardiovascular improvements. Your heart retains the ability to get stronger throughout your entire life. It just needs the right stimulus. And these 5 exercises are designed exactly for that. Ignoring these exercises means you might regret it someday, regretting why you didn't start sooner, regretting why you let your heart weaken to the point of depending on medication without even realizing it. But the good news is, you, watching this video right now, still have a choice. Now it's your turn. After 60, have you noticed any changes in your heart or blood pressure? How much time do you actually spend on targeted cardiovascular exercise each week? What's your biggest concern holding you back from starting this kind of training? Share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. We really look forward to hearing your story. Thanks for watching.